Welcome to Fast Facts History. Today, we will be discussing the People Power Revolution and how it led to a complete overhaul in the Filipino government, transitioning the country from a dictatorship to a democracy. However, this will be split up into two parts, with this part focusing up on the build-up to the revolution and part 2 covering the revolution. Since this is such an important moment in Filipino history, let's see how this actually happened. The People Power Revolution was a short revolution in 1986 that occurred in the Philippines that spanned 3 days. Occurring in the metropolitan areas of Manila, it is also known as the EDSA Revolution because the majority of demonstrations occurred on EDSA Avenue in Manila. The revolution was inspired by an increase in the tyranny of Ferdinand Marcos, the current dictator of the Philippines, and ended in him and his wife Imelda fleeing the country for Hawaii and Corazon Aquino inaugurated as president. The People Power Revolution was mainly inspired due to the growing dictatorship of Ferdinand Marcos, who at first was not the dictator the world knows him as today. Marcos came to power in 1965 after winning a fair, democratic presidential election against the incumbent. Marcos then went on to win a second term in 1969, despite many controversies surrounding mistreatment of the poor. However, Marcos was barred from running for a third term in 1973. As a result, Marcos declared martial law in September 1972 and used emergency powers to abolish free speech, press, and other civil liberties in addition to shutting down Congress. He arrested political opponents such as Benigno Aquino, which allowed him to rule for 14 years longer past his 1973 limit. To add more fuel to the fire, Marcos' image amongst his people as well as the international community was further ruined after the 1983 assassination of Benigno Aquino, or Ninoy Aquino. Aquino was seen as a man of the people and was greatly supported by the citizens, while being the biggest rival to Marcos. Aquino was in exile in the United States after being transferred there for heart surgery. However, he made plans to return in 1983, much to the dismay of his close ones and advisors. On August 21, 1983, Ninoy arrived in Manila International Airport and was quickly shot in the head as he stepped out of a plane right before he was to be escorted into a vehicle to take him to prison. Many believe that this assassination turned the opposition to Marcos from a small movement to a national crusade and was crucial to the build-up of the revolution itself. The biggest reason for the People Power Revolution, however, was the alleged fraudulent 1986 presidential election. In an ABC interview in the United States, Marcos declared a snap election in 1986 in a further attempt to legitimize his power during a time of serious civil tension and uncertainty. Marcos' challenger was Corazon Aquino, the wife of Ninoy Aquino, who turned into a beacon of hope, and the person that was loved by the people of the Philippines after the death of Ninoy himself. As the results came, it was reported that Marcos won the election by 1.5 million votes, 10.8 million for Marcos and 9.2 million for Aquino. However, a different ballot had Marcos losing to Aquino, with both having around 7.9 million votes each. Many called the election fraudulent and corrupt, proclaiming that the Marcos was disenfranchising a large number of Aquino's voters, which only led to more unrest and led to the buildup of the People Power Revolution.